India's grand wedding season is now witnessing a striking shift. Weight loss injections are becoming part of the pre-wedding preparation, with clinic offering transformation packages that go beyond skincare and styling. These now include guided nutrition, fitness routines, and prescription drugs like Mounjaro and Wegovy. Doctors say more brides and grooms are approaching them with strict wedding timelines, seeking rapid weight loss. What was once about looking good has now moved into medical intervention, raising serious questions. The rise of this trend is closely linked to the social expectations around weddings in India. In arranged marriage settings, physical looks can influence acceptance. Adding to the pressure, experience of body shaming and rejection are pushing many to seek faster solutions with limited time and demanding schedules. Drugs like Mounjaro are increasingly seen as shortcut to hard work. At the same time, aggressive marketing and easier access are accelerating the trend. Experts caution that this is not a harmless cosmetic solution. Drugs like Mounjaro and Ozempic are meant for obesity and diabetes and require strict medical supervision. Unregulated use can lead to side effects and long-term risks. Concerns are also rising around off-label use and unauthorized sales, especially with cheaper options entering the market. Doctors stress that without lifestyle changes, results may be temporary and harmful. So as this trend grows, it raises a larger question. Are weddings and social expectations pushing people towards medical shortcuts for appearance? Is this about confidence or deeper societal pressure? And should powerful prescription drugs be used for time-bound cosmetic goals? I'm joined by Dr. Shikha Sharma, a scientific mentor, Ranford Wellness and veteran nutritionist. And subsequently, I'll be joined by Professor Y.K. Gupta and Dr. Nitin Kapoor. But let me straight away go to Dr. Shikha Sharma. Shikha, thank you so much for joining me. I mean to say, these are not over-the-counter supplements. These are not protein bars. What sort of effect they can have on body if the use is unregulated, unsupervised?
See, the first thing we have to understand that they are GLP agonists. That means that they are acting just like a serious diabetic drug would act. They're acting on a receptor and changing the entire signaling, changing the entire communication. Now, the first thing we have to do is understand that they delay food they delay the passage of food. That means delayed emptying into the intestine. Food is sitting there. Now, if food is sitting there longer than necessary, we have to understand food is sitting in the stomach longer than necessary, longer than what the body intended to do. And that's why there is fullness. Now, the immediate side effects are nausea, vomiting, electrolyte imbalance. Some people are getting rashes at the site of injection. That is the immediate. But long term, you are actually interfering with how the body is digesting food, which means that at a later stage, malabsorption or the kind of impact on the liver, on the pancreas. Pancreatitis is one of the side effects which is listed on the packaging.
Can you just explain what the pancreatitis is? I mean, so we'll go phase by phase,
Yes.
We will have a really good conversation on this. So
Yes.
What is pancreatitis?
So pancreatitis, basically pancreas is what is producing insulin, which is the hormone which helps you digest food and sends the food to each and every cell. Now, when that organ is getting inflamed is almost like an internal wound. That can lead to anything. And as you know that these are new drugs. So large population studies over 5-year, 10-year, 15-year are still pending. So we do not know what is going to be the impact. Will it lead to pancreatic cancer? Because pancreatitis is an inflammation or a wound of pancreas. So it's getting wounded. Now, all wounds, if they are continuous, can lead to anything. It could lead to a dysfunction. It could lead to a cancer or a mutation. Second thing is, it is already understood that there could be epigenetic outcomes. Epigenetic means that how your genetic signaling happens, how your DNA signals. And DNA gets affected by external factors, right? So where air pollution is one of the factors which is more external, here the changes are happening inside your body, inside your entire system. So epigenetic outcomes or epigenetic things have not been studied in detail. Third thing is, we don't know what will happen to the sperm and the ovary, because sperm and ovary are the most fertile end result of any food we take. It nourishes the sperms and ovary to create a new life. Now, we don't know that will it be transgenerational, because many drugs can have transgenerational impact. We don't know if this is one of those drugs which can have a transgenerational impact. And this specifically, I'm saying in the context of new brides and new grooms trying to, people who are just getting married and who will have a fertility cycle going ahead. So that is one of the things we need to ask questions.
Okay.
Another thing, yes.
Okay. My other guest, Professor Y.K. Gupta, also joins me. Thank you so much, sir, for joining me. These drugs are very potent, life-altering, can help you a lot. Obesity is an issue. Sugar is an issue in South Asia. But to treat them just like normal wellness drug, Professor, what sort of effect can they have in the larger context of medicine? Can they go the antibiotic way? People buy them off the counter, so many drugs, Norfolk TZ, and not realizing, this is just one of them, not realizing that excessive use of these drugs can lead to resistance. So even these drugs may have some sort of a side effect if they're just being treated like as wellness food or supplements.
I think we must understand that the glucagon-like peptide 1, which is commonly called as a GLP-1 drugs, are very important addition in the armamentarium of diabetes drugs and for weight loss. They are very effective. However, their side effect profile is limited understanding we have because they have only limited. It is very important, and it has been emphasized again and again by the originator as well the regulator worldwide, and more importantly in India by Indian regulator and the government, that they must be prescribed only by endocrinologist, the cardiologist, and the internal medicine expert, or anybody who has been trained in diabetes prescribing, not even by single MBBS or what to call of a beauty clinic or maybe like that. It will be hazardous, dangerous, and it will be risk to the life, because the side effects which are commonly known are GI side effects. It can cause, but the more important side effects are, it can cause muscle wasting. That's why people call it the Mounjaro face and all those things. Complete muscle wasting, sarcopenia is one. The risky thing that it is known to cause pancreatitis. It can known to cause the cancer pancreas. It may cause the cancer of the thyroid, medullary cancer. It may cause kidney injury. God knows that it can cause also gallbladder injury. This is also been reported, and it can cause also the more critical thing, the retinal damage. Kidney and the retina, the diabetic patients suffer from retinopathy. And it has been seen that retinopathy in diabetic patient, it is aggravated by this drug, and many cases of blindness may be seen later. Now, the problem of this drug taking in pregnant women has not been assessed. Lactating, pregnant, and fertility. So this still is a gray area. And therefore, anybody who is taking just like a beauty, becoming ready for marriage or maybe reducing temporarily because it reduces weight, significant weight reduction, that will be dangerous, hazardous, and it must not be permitted by anybody who is not qualified to do it. Unsupervised, I think that will be dangerous. Anybody who is selling it, who's practicing it, must be taken into task.
Okay.
Whether it is a beauty clinic, whether it is a gym, whether it is a misleading advertisements. Misleading advertisement is a dangerous thing.
Okay, this brings us to the central question. Dr. Shikhar Sharma, why is India suffering with obesity? Okay, theek hai, people can now afford these medicines, there's a marriage pressure, people want to account for it, they want to make their marriages Instagrammable, YouTubeable, Facebook friendly, they want to create those digital memories, they want to look perfect. It's okay. But why is obesity on rise? I mean, so you must be getting a lot of people, but why is it on rise in India?
Excellent question. So first thing we have to understand that obesity is not a disease of one particular receptor. obesity is a multifactorial problem, and obesity is the end result of all those multifactorial problems. Now, most people understand, okay, we are eating more and we're exercising less. Obesity is not as simple as that. If you really see, obesity also has a very critical factor, which is the amount of chemicals which are going in your intestine, which are disrupting your gut biome. The gut biome is creating, and we know that the gut is connected to your brain. The gut-brain axis is there. So it is leading into malabsorption. It is leading into leaky guts. It's leading into liver problems, fatty liver. It's leading to cravings and cellular, I would say, starvation. The cells are starving. Why the cells are starving? Because at the intestinal level, what the body needs, it's not getting, which could be deficiency of nutrients, it could be deficiency of microminerals, micronutrients, but what it is getting is artificial color, artificial preservative, artificial food, artificial sugar, artificial fat. So what the body is getting uh, almost attacked at a daily basis is a host of chemicals which the body is not designed to process. The end result is inflammation. The signaling pathways are completely getting dysfunctional. As a result, the fat is collecting in places, we're not supposed to, like liver, like internal visceral organs, and which is creating a cascade of hormonal imbalances. So if you see a young girl or a young woman, 14, 15-year-old, becoming obese, it's not only about how much she's eating, but what she's eating, how much chemicals is in that food, what is unnatural food she's having. So I think we have to understand that obesity, we should stop talking about the quantity of food and start talking about the chemicals and the kind of food people are eating.
Absolutely. Professor Gupta, you know, in last 30, 40, 50, 60 years, what has changed in India? Is it just the food consumption? Are we eating too much of oil, sir? Is it the domination of ultra processed food in our lifestyles? What is leading to such obesity that it is turning into an epidemic issue in South Asia? I mean to say, if you look at older photographs from 40s, 30s, even, you know, pre-colonial India, very rarely you will find obese people in those black and white photographs. What is changing, sir?
I think you have hit the very important point. There was a time pre-independence India when there was not obesity was hardly seen. But today, obesity is a major problem, not only in the higher income group, also middle income group. Obesity is a problem. And I would say, narrate, and in addition to what Madam has very rightly said, see, this is basically energy imbalance.
Energy imbalance?
Yes, energy imbalance. Basically, your body requires, say, 1800 calories or 1500 calories, where you are consuming much more than that, then where it will go? It will get deposited in the form of a fat. And then second thing is the unhealthy diet. And that means you are consuming diet which is high carbohydrate, which is high sugar. You are day to day taking a lot of junk food, and you are taking carbonated, sweetened food, and that is unhealthy diet. The coupled with this is the sedentary life, which now Indian population is gradually is having more and more. There was a time everybody used to do a lot of mashakkat, खेतों में काम करते थे, but now the sedentary life is more and more. Sleep deprivation is another cause, because if you have less sleep, it is known to cause. Contributing factor is the genetic. Of course, we cannot say every fat person will blame that I have a genetic disposition, but no, that's one of the component. The environment is also important. See, the environmental toxicant has also been, but I would not blame that as a major thing, which is not correctable. Is the stress is also important thing.
Okay.
How much stress people are taking it. So this is and also psychological factor. Now these are the several things which are correctable by lifestyle modification.
Lifestyle modification. I'm also joined by Dr. Nitin Kapoor, Honorary Secretary, South Asia Obesity Forum. Dr. Nitin, is obesity also being redefined because of constant availability of food, which was not so 100 years ago? And you know, And this whole thing which the Western media has said, if you exercise enough, you can burn everything, without understanding that, body has a different metabolic order. You can't exercise your way out of it. There has to also be a limit to what you put inside it.
I think very, very important point that you pointed out. Answering the second part first, if somebody runs on a treadmill for say about an hour on a slope, they would burn about 120, 140 calories. That would come with just 1 cup of coffee. So we just need to get that very clear, that exercise is not going to get you, your weight loss. For losing 1 kilogram, you need to burn 7,000 calories, and that would mean a lot of exercise. So that myth needs to be busted very well. But I think just adding on to another point, the food availability, I think with these newer apps where today on fingertips, you have any restaurant deliver food at your doorstep, I think that is something which is really increasing the obesity pandemic in India right now.
But Nitin, with these availability, we were talking about the story that was Reuters had filed, a lot of demand is coming that, before the wedding, both men and women, they should look perfect. They should look muscled. Our concept of beauty is also determining health and weight. You might have little extra weight, but you can still be healthy, and you can be very, very thin and maybe also very unhealthy. The shape in itself is being defined, which might not be medically correct.
Absolutely, yes. And, especially from an Indian perspective, we have this thin fat phenotype. We may look thin and have still a lot of fat.
Can you just explain that for our viewers? Can you explain that for our viewers? What
Absolutely. So what we say is, for an Indian phenotype, or if I may say for a South Asian phenotype, we may have normal BMI, but high amount of body fat. Our own research from Vellore has shown that about 30% of the Indian population has this particular phenotype. And now we have 10-year follow-up data to suggest that people who may have higher amount of body fat, despite looking thin, despite their weight not being very high, may have higher risk. So yes, it is on either end of the spectrum. People may look very obese, but may have good muscle mass rather than fat mass, and therefore they may be relatively healthier than somebody who may look actually thin. So yes, you're right, obesity is being redefined, and this is something which is important to understand, that body fat is a more important factor that physicians and doctors are now looking at rather than just the weight.